Dear students, welcome to this digital lecture series. The topic of today's discussion is quantum mechanics, and in that we are going to see the Davison and Germer experiment. We have seen that certain phenomena of light like interference, diffraction, reflection, etc. could be explained by the wave nature of light, and certain phenomena like the Compton effect, the photoelectric effect, etc. could be explained if we assume that the light consists of large number of particles. Here the particle nature of light is considered. So, according to de Broglie hypothesis, if light could exhibit dual nature, sometimes wave nature, sometimes particle nature, then a beam of material particles should also exhibit wave-like nature. And in that case, for a beam of material particles, there is a certain wavelength associated with it. There is a certain wave associated with it, and the wavelength of this wave is given by the de Broglie equation. Lambda is equal to h upon v. So, an experiment was performed to verify whether a beam of material particles also exhibit a wave-like nature, and this experiment was performed by Davison and Germer. So what is the importance of this experiment? That Davison and Germer experiment, it was the first experiment performed to prove that a beam of material particle also exhibits wave nature. The experimental setup for this consists of an electron gun. Electron gun is a thermionically heated filament F, which is heated by passing current through it. The beam of electron that is emitted by the filament F, it is accelerated by an applied voltage V, which is applied across the metallic plate C. And the accelerated beam of electrons is made incident on the target material. So this is a filament connected to a voltage source, and when the current flows, filament gets heated, it emits a beam of electron. This beam of electron is accelerated by this applied potential voltage V. So we get a highly energetic beam of electron, and it is made incident on the target material. Now let us see what is the target material used in this experiment. It is the nickel crystal. It is kept in such a way that the accelerated beam of electron is incident on the 111 face of the nickel crystal. The nickel crystal can be kept fixed, or it can also be rotated about a certain axis. Detector used in this experiment is a Faraday cylinder, and it contains some gas inside it. The Faraday cylinder is connected to a galvanometer G, and it can be moved along an angular scale so as to measure the current I for different angle of scattering phi. The current in the galvanometer is directly proportional to the intensity of the scattered electron beam at a particular angle phi. So, in this figure, this is the nickel crystal. A finely collimated beam of electron is incident on it, it gets scattered. So there is a detector in the form of Faraday cylinder. It can be moved along a circular or angular scale so that the intensity or the current for different angle of scattering phi could be noted down. Now the experiment was performed in two parts. In the first part, a fixed voltage was applied across the metal plates and the magnitude of voltage applied was 54 volts. The position of the nickel crystal was kept fixed. The detector, it was moved along the angular scale and it was kept at different angle of scattering, and for each angle of scattering the current in the galvanometer was noted. A graph was plotted between the current I on the y-axis and the scattering angle phi on the x-axis. So what was observed? It was observed that for smaller scattering angles phi, the current had a large value. So you can observe here, if angle of scattering along this x-axis, if it is small, the current value is large. As the angle of scattering increases, the ionization current goes on decreasing, and then it again increases, attains a certain peak value at angle of scattering phi is equal to 50 degrees, and this all for an accelerating voltage of 54 volts. It will be more clear in the next slide. See here, we have kept our applied voltage at 54 volt. The beam of electron is incident on the nickel crystal. It gets scattered, and for different angles of scattering we are measuring the current, and when you plot the current against the angle of scattering, then for smaller values of angle of scattering the value of current is more. As the angle of scattering increases, the ionization current decreases, then it goes on increasing, and for an angle of 50 degrees, we get a peak, and then it goes on decreasing. So this kind of graph or plot was obtained when the accelerating potential voltage was 54 volt. And where was the peak obtained? It was obtained at scattering angle of phi is equal to 50 degrees. Now in the second part, the position of the detector was kept fixed. The accelerating voltage was increased, and for each voltage the galvanometer current was noted. A graph was plotted between the ionization current I on the y-axis and under root of V, that is under root of applied accelerating voltage on the x-axis. Then in the graph a series of maxima and minima were obtained. See here, for different angle of scattering was kept fixed, accelerating voltage was changed, and the current or the intensity of the scattered rays were noted. So we get a series of maxima and minima if you plot a graph between intensity and under root of voltage. It is more clear here that for applied accelerating voltage and intensity on the y-axis, series of maxima and minima was obtained, and a maximum peak was obtained for an voltage of 54 volt. Now these unusual results which were obtained in these two graphs, it could be explained only if it is assumed that the beam of electron is diffracted from the different atomic planes in the nickel crystal, similar to the diffraction of X-rays from different atomic planes. So this result could be explained only if it is assumed that the electron beam is diffracted from different atomic planes of nickel crystal. Now since diffraction is a phenomena which could be explained only on the basis of wave nature of the light, we can conclude that the beam of electron which is diffracted here should also exhibit a wave nature. So what is the conclusion from this experiment? That a beam of material particle also exhibits wave-like nature. Material particle beam, it already has a particle nature, but along with it, a beam of material particle will also exhibit a wave-like nature. Now, this was observed experimentally and we have reached to a conclusion on the experimental evidence. Let us see it theoretically. So we have seen that in the first part, the accelerating voltage applied was V is equal to 54 volt and a maxima peak was observed at a scattering angle of phi is equal to 50 degree. It is seen in this graph, also in this graph it is seen that a maximum peak is obtained for an angle of scattering 50 degrees when the applied potential was 54 volts. Now see here, this is the nickel crystal shown in blue color and this is the incident beam of electron. It gets scattered or diffracted from the different atomic planes and phi is the angle of scattering or diffraction. Now if I draw this figure by making these planes straight, I will get this kind of figure. So these are the different planes in atomic planes in a nickel crystal. This is the normal direction shown in red. It is the normal direction. The incident ray is AP, is incident on the different atomic planes of the nickel crystal and it gets scattered. For an angle of scattering phi is equal to 50 degrees, we had got a maxima peak. Now observe this particular angle made by normal and the line PC, this line and the normal. This is a 90 degrees angle. Now in this case, we can see the glancing angle. What is the glancing angle in this case? This angle theta is the glancing angle. So sum of glancing angle theta and this angle phi by 2, this is equal to 90 degrees. So the glancing angle theta is equal to 90 minus phi by 2. Now what is our phi by 2? See, phi is the angle of scattering and a maxima peak was obtained at phi is equal to 50 degrees. So phi by 2 is equal to 25 degrees. So our glancing angle in this case becomes 90 minus 25, that is equal to 65 degrees. So see here, once again I have shown the same slide. The glancing angle in this particular figure or in this particular experiment, when the maximum peak was obtained for a scattering angle of 50 degrees, the glancing angle in that case theta is equal to 90 minus pi by 2, that is equal to 90 minus 25, and it is equal to 65 degrees. So our glancing angle is given by APC and it is equal to 65 degrees. Now we are all familiar with the Bragg's X-ray diffraction equation, and it is given by 2d sin theta is equal to n lambda. Now here d is the interplanar distance for the nickel crystal, that is distance between these two atomic planes, and that is small d. In case of nickel crystal it is 0.91 angstrom. Distance between these two planes, it is 0.91 angstrom. The glancing angle theta we have calculated from the geometry, it is coming out to be 65 degrees. So for the first order diffraction, n is equal to 1, and if you put these values, we get the wavelength of the diffracted beam by using the Bragg's X-ray diffraction equation. The wavelength of the diffracted beam is given by lambda is equal to 2 into 0.91 angstrom into sine of theta, and the calculation comes out to be 1.65 angstrom. Thus, the experimental value of the wavelength associated with the beam of electrons is 1.65 angstrom. So this is the first part. But in the first part, we have made use of the wave nature of the phenomena, and we have used the Bragg's X-ray diffraction equation. And remember that diffraction is a wave nature phenomena, a phenomena which can be explained by wave nature. Now, in the above experiment, the electrons are accelerated by a voltage of 54 volts. Therefore, the energy of the electron is given by E is equal to small e into capital V. Remember that if a charged particle of charge Q is moving in an electric field due to applied voltage capital V, then the energy of that charged particle is given by Q into V. In our case, since it is electron, we have taken small e. E is the charge of electron and applied voltage is V. The de Broglie wavelength associated with an electron beam which is moving in an applied voltage V, it is given by lambda is equal to h upon p. Now this p is the momentum, and it is equal to h upon under root of twice m e. This e is the energy of that electron, and we have seen here the energy is eV. So if I make the substitution, I get the wavelength of the electron beam is h upon under root of twice m e v. Now here the applied voltage capital V is equal to 54 volts. Planck's constant h is equal to 6.62 into 10 raised to the power minus 34 joule second. Mass of electron small m is 9.1 10 raised to the power minus 31 kg, and the electronic charge is E is equal to 1.6 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb. If you make the substitution, you get the value of lambda is equal to 1.67 angstrom. So thus, the theoretical value of the wavelength associated with the beam of electron, it comes out to be 1.67 angstrom. And what have we used here? We have used the de Broglie hypothesis. We have used that the electron in this case is a charged particle. So we are using a particle nature. So thus the experimental value of wavelength associated with the beam of electron is 1.65 angstrom, and this is calculated on the basis of diffraction phenomena by using the Bragg's X-ray diffraction equation. And remember, diffraction can be explained only by using the wave nature. And the theoretical value of wavelength associated with the same beam of electrons is 1.67 angstrom, and it is based on the de Broglie hypothesis and the particle nature of the electron. So, thus an excellent agreement is observed between the experimental value of wavelength lambda, which is obtained by using the Bragg's X-ray diffraction equation, and the theoretical value of wavelength lambda, which is obtained by using the de Broglie equation. Now, because of this agreement in the calculated and the experimental values, we can conclude that a beam of material particles, in this case a beam of electron, can also behave like a wave. So, Davison and Germer experiment, it was the first experiment which successfully proved the wave nature of a beam of material particles. That's all about the Davison and Germer experiment. Have a nice